From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big night here on Evenings LA. It was a special report about your Thanksgiving stimulus checks and your holiday stimulus. Good evening. From the shores of Santa Monica, California tonight, major news about this economy, your money, and of course, your stimulus. We heat up with the non-farm payroll numbers released and the indication of travel and leisure on fire. More jobs created in the U.S. economy for travel and leisure than ever before. The bad news tonight on another front, that travel and leisure is negatively impacting other industries. And now analysts are worried that especially retail may slump horribly during this holiday season because no one has any money left because they're spending all the money on the travel and leisure. Meantime, we also know the debt levels are out of control, the largest debt levels of this U.S. economy ever in recent memory. And again, where from? Travel and leisure. You need to take a trip? Just stay with me. Over this 1 hour broadcast, we got massive stimulus, lifetime stimulus, FSC, ISC, and lots of Thanksgiving holiday stimulus checks for you. We're going to go over all this incredible sums of money in this 1 hour broadcast. This special report tonight from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Stay over this 1 hour broadcast as we go over all these incredible checks that are landing, passed by the President of the United States, passed by Congress, for every U.S. state. They're huge, their Thanksgiving and their holiday stimulus. Plus, we'll go over the latest breaking news that impact your money and your wallet this week and will impact it next week as well. We'll be looking at the mortgage industry, the auto industry. Also, we'll be looking at the perspective that you and I bring to this channel and why it's different than anywhere else. Tonight, a brand new outlook and a brand new perspective, but it's still the heart and soul you and me, the Purple Power community, over the last 2 years. But tonight we learn why you and I, when we look at data, we analyze it differently than a billionaire. Why we've been right and they've been wrong. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, we got a big show tonight, and a lot of money and a lot of deliciousness. Heat up and get ready. It's a big Thanksgiving countdown with Thanksgiving stimulus from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Everything you need to know and everything you need to get heats up tonight from Santa Monica, California on a primetime broadcast of Evenings. And good evening, everybody. Big night. And it's a great evening, and we got a huge show over this 1 hour broadcast. We have a lot of money to go over. We'll be covering your benefit raise, your housing market, your unemployment, your forced stimulus, that and more. The breaking news on a big primetime show of Evenings LA starts right now. How are you? Hope you're having a beautiful night. Tonight we heat up with those Thanksgiving stimulus checks, those holiday stimulus checks. They're massive. They're nearly $300,000. They come from the President of the United States and from Congress. They've been passed, and they are incredible. Viewers have been getting them, and I'm going to show you how to get them as well. Over this broadcast, we're going to go over the categories of checks, and we're going to go over the individual checks, and we're going to actually go through how to get the checks one at a time. And then we're going to go over why your efforts and your motivation and your inspiration has helped other people, part of this same community, get those checks as well. Huge broadcast. But tonight we also have a different perspective as we look at the money and the economy from your and I eyes and why it's totally different than what billionaires are saying and why you have been right in the last few months. Let's get to the breaking news starting tonight. We have the non-farm payroll numbers released by Department of Labor, and it showed more jobs created in the prior month of October, 239,000 new jobs. But where is the vast majority of those jobs created coming from? Travel and leisure. Travel and leisure, here you go. So a lot of jobs created in the month of October, 239,000, but the vast majority of the new jobs came from travel and leisure, which added 210,000 new jobs. Wait a second. I didn't catch that just right now. Maybe you caught it, but I missed it over the last 24 hours. 239,000 jobs created in the month of October, and of those, 210,000 were from travel and leisure. So there was only really about 15,000 jobs created in the month of October that were not travel and leisure. That is insane data. In fact, these people are getting paid more than ever before. Remember how I told you several months ago, if you want a job, go into travel and leisure, which is hospitality or airlines. Their salaries are up 11.2% year to date. What do you think the average salary went up in the month of October? It's lower. We'll jump in the live chat. I'll answer that question in just a second. Manufacturing didn't actually lost jobs in that same month across the board. What do you think that average salary raise in the month of October was when travel and leisure was 11+%? It was 7.5%. One of the industries that is really being hurt tonight, we're learning, it's breaking news, it just happened minutes ago, is retail. We're learning tonight that there's big worries from analysts that the retail market will really slump and not deliver holiday sales, not because of inflation, not because of recession, not because of debt, but because people don't have any money left over because they're spending it all on travel and leisure. Wait a second. Do you see what's going on here? Yes, it's becoming like an implosion of the U.S. economy because everyone is spending so much money on travel and they have nothing left to live their lives on. Here's the data that we have going into tonight. American Express, the CEO, and Bank of America CEO, in those third quarter corporate earnings reports just days ago, said they have never seen debt levels ever in their company history like they're seeing right now. And they say the debt levels are all from travel and leisure. So people are traveling, they're putting on the credit card, they don't have the cash for it potentially. But tonight we learn a new element of it. They don't have cash left over for other parts of the economy to spend it on. That's why they believe that retail will really be hurt dramatically during the holiday season. Moreover, they think that people already bought their products that they needed last year during COVID, so they don't have they don't have missing products. They bought them all last year. This is fascinating. Now, here's another part of a implosion of the economy. The mortgage industry. Wells Fargo is a major lender when you want to get a mortgage for a home. But now that the mortgage rate has surged from 3% earlier this year to 7%, guess what's happening to people's jobs? They're losing them. And Wells Fargo, we're learning tonight that they only have in the pipeline right now in this fourth quarter 18,000 loans. The entire company, the entire United States, not just Los Angeles. That sounds like a Los Angeles number. You know, how many loans you have down the street you're working on? You know, 10,000. No, the entire company, the entire United States, they have 18,000 loans in the pipeline. Their business is down 90%. And now there's big worries that this is one of those major industries where you see huge company layoffs. Deeply worried for any of my viewers that are watching tonight that know anyone that works in the mortgage industry because their jobs may not be around by tomorrow. Also at issue, not a surprise because you and I talked about it, auto falling apart. The auto industry is falling apart very quickly. Now, here is where we go with the analysis. Anything that is based upon a variable debt level like auto, credit card, or student loan debt, anything that has a variable rate, that is going to be negatively impacted by Jay Powell raising those rates. The Federal Reserve met at that latest November FOMC meeting last week, the Federal Reserve, and they raised rates to 75 basis points again. No surprise. They're going to do it all this year, all next year, and the year after that. That was what I predicted several months ago. But here's the problem, is that industries that are dependent upon debt are really being hit. If you bought a car last year, you may have bought on a car loan. It's a variable debt, and you may not be able to afford it if Jay Powell raises rates. So that's what happened with Ford. Ford reported going into the weekend, the latest details, that sales went down 10% in 1 month because people could not afford the debt levels for these cars. The F Series pickup, one of their best sellers, is down 17.4% in 1 month alone. Big problems across the board. But tonight we have a new perspective, and I'm so excited you're watching. LALATE is the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, but tonight I can really say that LALATE is the number 1 most watched financial news channel in America that represents the average Joe and the average Jane. It's in the last 2 days that I really realized that when you're looking at financial news, this is the number one channel in the United States now that reports it for the average Joe and the average Jane. My viewers are not billionaires. My viewers are not moving 20,000 shares of Ford stock a day. My viewers are trying to afford the Ford that they own. My viewers are not moving 25,000 shares of of McDonald's a day. They're trying to keep their McDonald's job. And that's a very different perspective. That's why I want to go over why this impacts the analysis. When you look at data, your perspective as a person, if you're an average Joe or Jane, is very different looking at the data than a billionaire who's looking at the same data. Here's an example. When you look at McDonald's with those third quarter earnings, they're beating on top and bottom. And that ultimately is because of the demand is there and they are lower on the food chain on price point than a high-end restaurant. The billionaire may look at that data and say, you know what, let's buy and sell that stock. Let's trade. Let's put an option against that stock. But the viewer of my channel say, that's why I'm happy my son has a job there, because that job is stable. Their numbers are really strong and they're not going to lose their job. Different perspective, same data. Here's another example. Foxconn, we learned tonight, is on lockdown out of China. Foxconn is not Fox News. Foxconn is the major manufacturer of the iPhone overseas. They're in China and they're on lockdown because of COVID again. That's the news. That's the news. That's the data. What's the perspective? What's the analysis? The billionaire may say, oh, maybe I should take a covered call option on some Apple shares, of which you probably have no idea what I just said. It's just a trade. Maybe I should trade some Apple shares. And then you may be saying, wait a second, my daughter works at the Apple store and they don't have enough phones in the store. And the manager says, if we don't have enough phones, I may not need you as many hours this week than last week. Same data, different perspective. And that's why when you and I look at the news together, we look through it through the same eyes. And that's why you want to become part of this incredible family. In this recording, we're going to go over those incredible Thanksgiving stimulus checks. Thanksgiving and holiday stimulus. It's huge. 3 categories of them. FSCs, ISCs, and lifetime stimulus checks. FSCs are federal stimulus checks passed by the president and the Congress starting in the month of March. They're huge. Nearly $300,000 of them, 300 different checks. We're going to go over each of them in this recording, so I'll show you how to get each one over this 1-hour special report in prime time. Number 2, lifetime stimulus, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. But no one's teaching you. You're getting 4 raises, not 1. That's coming up later in this recording. And then inflation relief stimulus checks. I'm going to show you how good they are, but why you don't want to treat them like the main course for Thanksgiving. They're sort of like a side dish. Good, but not enough to have a full meal on. They're coming up in just a second. Let's go back into the breaking news tonight. So the breaking news tonight is that we're going into really a volatile time of late December where the market is a little bit uneased. And why? Because December is the Santa Claus rally where everything is straight up. Then you always have those days after Halloween where everything goes straight up historically. But we also have very, very troubling historical numbers that I want you to know about right now. The historical numbers I touched on a few days ago, which are the following. Historically, when you have massive run-ups of 17, 18% in 1 month, you have massive crashes. And the data at issue tonight is very, very troubling. That crash would impact you even if you don't own a stock, because ultimately, what would it mean for you? It would mean that potentially your job may be gone. Let me tell you what's at issue. 1987, January 1987, during the Reagan administration, we had an October that went through the roof, up 13, 14%. That's exactly what happened last October, last month, this year. It's mirroring January 1987. Here's what's also a problem. Is the last time we went up that fast, that quickly in 1 month, we crashed really badly. October 19th, 1987, the stock market crashed 23% in 1 day alone. So is there potential of a very, very bad thing on the horizon? Absolutely. But more importantly, what I want you to do is always err on caution. Always err in caution. Remember, the average Joe and the average Jane, you go risk adverse. You don't like risk. You want to be cautious with your money. You don't want to risk your money. The billionaire, they don't care. They have enough money in the bank, they can risk the situation. And that's why the perspective is very different. It starts by getting as much stimulus as you can. It continues with you removing as much variable debt in that household. Because remember, J Powell's raising those rates all this year, next year. And whatever debt you have right now, let's say it's $5,000, the rate to pay the debt, let's say it's, it was at some percentage point, it's going to be much higher by the end of this year, hideously higher next year, and hideously higher the year after that. You got to get rid of it across the board. Moreover, have you noticed what happened to milk and eggs in November? Jump in the live chat. Here's my question tonight. Are groceries higher, the same, or lower in November compared to last month? Comment your state. And I want to see your answers in just a second. I'll go back over that in a moment. The data we have tonight is that inflation has really not come down. The Personal Consumption Expenditure Index, which is called the PCE, was released a few days ago. In just a few days from now, we're going to have the CPI for October, the PPI for October, and also the retail sales. But we get the predecessor, the guidance from the PCE last week, and it showed it came down a little bit, but not that much. But what are you seeing? Jump in the live chat right now. What I saw last night shocked me. The inflation I'm seeing right now in November in the supermarkets in Los Angeles is hideously worse than it was in October. I gotta tell you, however ridiculous it was last month, it's insane now. Here's an example. Soda's been a very big topic of discussion by viewers on this channel. The soda, which used to be, buy 5, get it 99 cents or 97 cents, even in, your Kroger or something like that, then went to 195 last month. And I remember recording with you, and I remember chatting with you, saying, hey, 195, how ridiculous that is for soda, just for a 1.5 gallon container. You know what I saw that at last night? $3.50. I mean, $3.50 for a 1.5 liter of soda. Does that sound like pure ridiculousness? So J Powell's not gotten that inflation down at all, and that is why you got to get this forced stimulus check in every US state. Let's jump into this incredible Thanksgiving stimulus, lifetime stimulus, more stimulus right now. It's all holiday stimulus, and it heats up right now. We're going to start with the FSC checks, federal stimulus checks. Where are they? How did they happen? How do I get them? What do I do to get those incredible sums of money? Let's go over all the details you need to know starting right now. These FSC are federal stimulus checks, nearly $100,000. Started with the ones passed by the President of the United States in the month of March. Checks A, B, and C. Single individual, $75,000 less, you qualify. Married couple, $150,000 less, you qualify as well. How do you get them? You go on this video and become a member. Join this channel and get ready to get all these incredible checks, because I'm going to go over each of them with you in this broadcast. Then Congress came along and passed more checks, and those are checks E through K, bringing us to hundreds of checks of FSCs. It's insane, but it gets better than that. Then I got you checks L and M, N and O, P and Q, all in the LALATE newsletter. See that graphic? How do you get them? In the LALATE newsletter. You go right in this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and you get all these incredible hundreds of checks in the membership newsletter. And we're going to go over each of them one at a time in this broadcast. These incredible checks have yielded incredible stories, but tonight we learn a little bit more about you and I and how we interact. Here's the best example. I'm going to do a little bit out of order. Later in this recording, I'm going to go to Check N, but I want to tell you the story right now about Check N. It's been on this channel for a while. Over 2 months it's been on this channel. Stimulus N. It's one of the Thanksgiving holiday stimuluses. And I featured it for several months on this channel, but I never had when I recorded it, I would never say, and this person got it. I just told you the information about it. It's apparently different than when I tell you this person got it and this was his reaction to the news. Somehow that really motivates you incredibly. This is what happened. John Maloof was in the morning's live show when I got to stimulus, and I was recording it, and then he was in the live chat. I said, I got stimulus N, which is a brand new tablet. He said, I got the tablet, and I'm watching you on that tablet. That broadcast then, in less than 24 hours, motivated Spelly, who had already gotten checks A and C and a lot of other checks on this channel, heard that guy and said, wait a second, I missed that check. I want to go get that check. I want that thing. I want that. He got it. I can get it. That's the motivation. If another member of this community can get it, you can get it as well. And so Spelly saw John Maloof get it, and he went and got it within 24 hours. It didn't stop there yet. Lynn Glenn, who's gotten countless checks on this channel, she saw Spelly get it, getting because of John Maloof, and she got it as well. This was all in 7 days. Now, this is what also happens. All over these broadcasts, you're going to see me talk about going back and getting more checks. I always tell you, get this check, then get another check, and keep on pouncing, getting more checks across the board. Nisi is one of the examples I record where she was at 32,000. I said, Nisi, go get more. And she got 50,000. Well, guess what happened to John Maloof? He got that stimulus N, and I said, John, go get more stimulus. He did. 2 days. How much did he get? $20,000. Imagine one person, John Maloof, because of his success story, resulted in 2 other people becoming success stories that I know of. I mean, it could be a lot more that I know of, and resulted in me inspiring him and saying, John, go get more money. And he got it, 20,000. So if you're in the live chat right now, if you have a success story, post your success story. Also send it to me on private message, feature on air. That's how this channel works. We are all positivity. We are all inspiration. We are all motivational. Because when you and I are looking at this economy, we are looking at it through the regular Joe and the regular Jane's eyes. And to survive a recession, which is going to be 2 years, we got to work together. We got to work as one family, one community. And that's how we do it on this channel. In the big second half, we're going to go over more about these incredible checks. We're just getting started. We've only done the overview of these incredible checks. Now, let's actually jump into check A, B, and C right now. I forgot, yeah. The running time is just insane already on this broadcast because we have so much to cover. Stimulus A starts the FSC checks. $6,500 to $12,000, a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state, a holiday stimulus, a Thanksgiving stimulus. How do you get it? You go right in this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Cow, CNO VIP. Join this channel and get this incredible check in the membership newsletter. Remember that, membership newsletter. Go down to where it says check A in the membership newsletter, click the link and go and apply. That's how simple it is. This is the check that Spelly got. You're not done there yet. Go get check B. How do you get check B? You go down under this video, become a member, join this channel, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, then open that newsletter, go down in the newsletter to check B, click the link and go right and apply. $15,000 to $80,000. Now, why would you not become a member? Here's an example of why you would never say, I'm not. Because for just a few dollars, look what Frank Mancuso got. In just less than 30 days, for just a few dollars to become a member, he got 18 months of check B, of mortgage. Can you imagine what 18 months of your mortgage paid for from one channel is like? Folks, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. 18 months of utilities, 18 months of high-speed internet. In Florida, that's thousands and thousands of dollars he got from this channel in just less than 30 days. Not alone, happening all the time. Another viewer out of Florida, she got 80 to 100 checks from check B and nearly $100,000. So go right in this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Go down to check B and go get it. But we're not done there yet. You got to go get check C, which is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. Everyone has utilities. Everyone has a utility bill. And check C has been on this channel for 2 years. How do you get this? Go down on the video, join this channel, become a member. Then the membership newsletter, it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it when you're going to get some check C's. Let's look at some of the success stories that you deserve for check C, like other viewers. Purple Power community members have gotten, as members of this channel, upwards of $30,000 of rent. From all the way from Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth, go get some check C. And then what about utilities? Well, Mark's brother-in-law, here's Mark. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. You can as well. Go on to this video and get that membership signed up and get some check C. Snap. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $250,000 over 10 years for Snap, and then the success stories continue. We have combinations of checks. Nisi's at $23,000, she went to $50,000. Mark was at $32,000, he went to $50,000. then 100, then 166. Here's Lorraine. She was a 105. Then she went to 155 and then to 160. Success stories have been big on this channel in recent days. Deborah getting 18,000. Dragon getting $170,000 of this Thanksgiving and holiday stimulus. She's a triple member to all three channels, LA1, LA2, and LA3. Johnny, he had gotten $45,000 for himself by Wednesday, but by Friday, he applied at 15 places. Did you hear me right? Yes, 15 places and got $80,000. And then he helped his friends and neighbors, 20 of them, get $250,000. It's Thanksgiving, it's holiday stimulus. It's all incredible. You go right in this video, become a member, subscribe, and stay with me because we're still going over more checks. Those are just the first 3 checks in tonight's broadcast. In the big second half, we're going to jump into the continuation of those FSE checks, the remaining of the 300, the ISE checks, and the LLC checks, these incredible Thanksgiving stimuluses. But let's jump back into the breaking news. So the market is very, very uneasy. The housing numbers were horrible this week. Housing sales are dropping dramatically. No surprise there. No one can afford a 7% mortgage. They're not building either. And yet, the third quarter corporate earnings that came in this last week and expected for the new week have been generally beats. Better than expected. Top, revenue, bottom, and net income. But don't get confused by that. As I've been reporting all this year, and Josh Brown recently said, great analyst, he said, you know what? Don't forget, this is downward guided numbers. They were supposed to have this time of the year have a $10 number. Instead, they downward guided to say we're going to have 8, and they come in at 9. So it's a beat on something that they downward guided on. Yeah, don't get confused on that across the board. Data showed robust numbers, like Caterpillar having its best week in over a decade. We had a lot of companies who had reached levels for their stocks we have not seen since the 1920s. And then we had really the tech wreck. Meta, Facebook, be missing on top and bottom. And that stock down 75% year to date. It's not any better today as it was before. Amazon dropping 10% on a recent Friday. Intel going the other direction. And then Apple going up and down, sometimes 8% up and 8% down. But retail is not particularly the same as something like a Costco, because Morgan Stanley says 2023 will be a seminal year, according to analyst Simone Guzman, who says 2023 is going to be a seminal year for Costco that is expected to be absolutely through the roof. Let's look and see how last week and the week before was really shocking. So here's a series of companies that are trading in numbers we have not seen since the 1950s or the 1920s. Eli Lilly trading at levels so high we've not seen since 1950. We have Hershey's best numbers since 1972. Pepsi best numbers since 1965. Now, here is why this channel is #1 in America for financial news for the average Joe and average Jane. Because I'm not saying that for the purpose of telling you to go buy 200,000 shares of Pepsi or buy 100,000 shares of Cigna Health or Eli Lilly. No, that's what a billionaire would think. Billionaires say, wow, that stock's on fire. Let me go take a $100,000 position in that. No, I'm talking about that for purpose of your wallet. For your wallet. Because first of all, you're watching a recession grow. You're worried about job stability, whether that job's still going to be there. You're worried about paying your bills. And then you're worried about the price of goods you're paying for. So let's say you buy some Hershey's product. Are you seeing inflation in Hershey's product? What if you work at Hershey's? Are you worried about job stability? Well, when you see great numbers coming in from Hershey's, you know you have job stability. That's good. When you see the great numbers coming in from Hershey's, you may think they have also big inflationary pressure, big inflationary numbers. Maybe they are charging big run up on those numbers across the board. And that ultimately, this is why it's so important to be really on point when we analyze the data. We'll have more about this in the big second half. But of course, we're also going to have big stimulus. Thanksgiving stimulus and the holiday stimulus goes into second gear in that big second half as we continue with those FSE checks and ISE checks, and of course, lifetime. Thanksgiving and holiday stimulus checks keyed up the second half. See you back in 60 seconds.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues in a big second half on the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good evening. The primetime broadcast of Evenings LA heats up its big second half. Federal stimulus checks give you financial freedom, give you that incredible relief because you raise your savings and ultimately you reduce your debt. Well, let's continue with those incredible FSE checks with the ones passed by Congress. Yes, Congress came along and passed more checks, bringing us to hundreds of checks, and those are checks E through K. Let's look at those great checks right now. At check E, we have a wonderful $7,500 check, huge. Then at check F, $4,000. Then at check G, 30% off. Wow, that is wonderful. Then we have check H, $2,000. Check I, a whopping $8,000. Check J, $8,000. And check K, $14,000. Just insane. At Stimulus N, we have that big success story I led with early in this broadcast. But first, let's go to L and M. L is $100,000 on average of loan is free money, and M is $4,000 of free money for you grants. Stimulus N, brand new tablet, brand new computer, brand new laptop, free internet. That was the Stimulus N on this channel for several months, but it was a totally different story when I went on air on Mornings LA and I mentioned that, and then John Maloof got it and was watching me on the tablet. That success story from Mr. Maloof inspired Spelly, and Spelly inspired Lynn Glenn. That's why when you have a success story, post in the live chat. Always inspire other people. Bring that positivity, that motivation, that purple power spirit to this family. Because every time you get something, someone else realizes, I can do that as well. It makes it that much straightforward and easier. Stimulus O, 0 down payment, 0 closing costs, 0 mortgage payment, and 0 credit check. And then Stimulus P and Q. P is 3% down, and Q is $8,000 of closing costs. All your money, free money across the board. And those, my friends, are your incredible FSE checks, part of this great Thanksgiving holiday stimulus. Now, the largest of these FSE holiday Thanksgiving stimulus checks is $100,000. The smallest is $8,000. Fastest routing time for this Thanksgiving stimulus is about 2 days. Johnny getting incredible, wonderful $45,000 in 2 days. He continued to Friday with that $80,000. He put 15 applications in. That's how you do it. 15 applications in 4 days. Got half of them approved. We have checks of all different types. Home repairs, home appliances, the car, the computer, the internet, a little bit of everything. And those are great. FSC checks in terms of a Thanksgiving meal is the main course. Now, the side dish is the ISC. It's sort of like the mac and cheese. ISC checks, inflation relief stimulus checks, are great for Thanksgiving. About $1,000 from your state's automatic direct deposit. How do you learn about these ISC checks? You become a member. Go down to where it says check D, like donut, in the membership newsletter. Click and open it up. And then it has the list of your states, the check amount, and the link to go right in and learn about where it comes from. They're incredible, and they are wonderful. Next, lifetime stimulus, the final part of these Thanksgiving holiday stimulus. Now, no one's telling you two parts of this. One, no one's telling you that you're getting 4 raises, and also no one's telling you that you're going to have more cash than the costs are in less than 3 years. What's going on? Well, first of all, you're getting 4 raises, not 1. You got a 5.9% raise last year. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits. That 5.9% raise last year is going to get an 8.7% raise on top of it, not a replacement, on top of it next year. Then the year after that, you're going to get another raise. And the year after that, you get another raise. Yes, you're going to get raises into 2024. Why? Because Jay Powell said we'll still have inflation for 2 more years and it'll still be raising interest rates. Now, the second part of the story, no one's telling you either, is as your benefits go higher into 2024, the items you buy, like the milk and eggs, will keep on coming down because Jay Powell's restoring price stability back to those old levels where soda was 95 cents for buying a pack of 5 in 4 years. Well, in 2024, I should say. So yeah, I guess soda's going to be expensive to 2044, unfortunately. But at least by 2024, you will have the highest payment of a benefits check ever, and yet the items you'll be buying will be the cheapest you've ever spent for them across the board. That's incredible Thanksgiving holiday stimulus. How do you do this? Again, number one, you become a member. Go right in this video, join the channel. Welcome the nearly 100 new members joining every 24 hours. And then go down the membership newsletter, apply for check A, B, C, and continue all the way to Q. Then learn about your ISCs in the newsletter at check D and learn about your LSCs. Lots of Thanksgiving, lots of holiday stimulus. It's all here all the time. Now, let's go back into this economy and also my perspective across the board. It's very important to understand how perspective impacts the analysis. Here's what's at issue. This coming week, we'll have a lot of massive third quarter corporate earnings coming in. And you and I will be looking at the same data as a billionaire. The only difference is the billionaire reacts to the news differently than you and I do. When you and I look at the data, what are we thinking about? We're thinking about, one, the concern about whether this will cause people to lose their jobs. Number two, the concern of whether this means the products will be more expensive. The concern number 4 of whether the numbers indicate some other part of the economy will be negatively impacted. Here's an example. Let's say we get a corporate earning next week that says we had big problems. We're in the retail industry and we did not have the demand and our sales were down 20%. And this was across all U.S. stores. This is retail. Immediately, what would be your reaction and my reaction? Jump in the live chat. My reaction would be, well, are you having problems paying the bills? Are you getting close to foreclosure? Are you getting close to bankruptcy? Are you getting close to cutting the workforce? Now, ultimately, the concern would be whether this is the first negative quarter or the second negative quarter. If there's a second negative quarter, then ultimately you and I know exactly what we're worried about. Firings, layoffs. And that type of concern resonates to you and to your neighbor and to your family members that ultimately may know someone or may actually work at that store. Number 2, it may also negatively impact the entire town because some towns are totally dependent upon the financial success of a major big box retailer in that store. Number 3, it may also negatively impact other industries. Here's an example. Let's say 3 or 4 major big box retailers are the vast majority of the income that comes into your town, or most people work at those big box retailers. And what happens to those 3 or 4 big box retailers in your town? Say we're not hiring anymore and we're laying some people off. Guess what happens? They're not going to go buy the car at the local car dealership, and they're not going to buy the tractor trailer at the local tractor trailer dealership. So these things negatively impact them across the board. That's how you and I, with our eyes and ears, look at the data as the average Joe and the average Jane. The billionaire, he looks at the data and says, oh, maybe I should move 100,000 shares. Maybe I should trade options against 100,000 shares. Maybe I should, take a position in another company that may buy that company if the company goes under. Totally different perspective Same data, different perspective. And that's ultimately why LALATE is now number one for financial news for the average Joe and the average Jane. I'm not recording for the billionaire. I'm not telling you how to move 100,000 shares or telling you how to buy the stock before a buyout happens or how to sell the stock before a foreclosure happens or bankruptcy filing happens. I'm telling you for the perspective of you and I to survive in this economy, to keeping our wallets in hand, not to doing bizarre or complex moves for billionaires. And that's why it's so important, moreover, to disregard analysis that really comes from billionaires. Okay, so this is another part of the equation. Over the last few months, we've talked about a lot of strange analysis that always comes out. And we always say, why is that person saying those things? There's always someone in the live chat that says, that's ridiculous. Why did they actually say that when we know that's not happening? Here's an example where they say the labor market's really strong, and yet there's firings and layoffs and hiring freezes. And you and I have talked about that. We're like, why are they saying the labor market's strong? Well, because the labor market's strong in, in financial industry, but not strong in, let's say, retail industry. Number two, they often point to data that is about their wallet, but not about the average Joe's wallet. So the data may not be about you and I, but about them. Here's an example. The debt levels when you're trading or moving stocks at $100,000 a pop a day. And that's not what you and I are doing. But you and I are worried about paying the car loan in the driveway, the 2-year used car that you bought last year, making sure you pay the car loan. That's a totally different perspective. We're using the same data, Jay Powell raising those interest rates at the Federal Reserve, but we're analyzing it differently. So what I want you to remember, though, and this is why I'm doing this part of the broadcast, is that when analysts look at the data and have a grossly different answer than you and I do, the reason might be is that their clients are billionaires, is that they're writing the advice for billionaires, or that they themselves are potential billionaires or potential future billionaires. That's why the same data that you and I look at means totally different words to us than sometimes to them. Finally, who gets it right? More out of times, you get it right than them. And why? You know why. Earlier last year, I told you the importance of being the eyes and the ears, and we did a lot by the middle of this year. I said eyes and ears. If you're in the store, in the Walmart, or the Target, I told you how many people at the checkout stand, how many people are helping you to when you go to buy the item, how many people are hiring in your local town. I said be the eyes and ears. Then by the fall, we went over milk and eggs. What do you see with the price of the milk and eggs? Earlier in this broadcast, we went over the soda. Do you see the soda more expensive now in November than in October? Eyes and ears. Billionaires are not in line buying soda. They're not. And so their data is not as good as your data. Your data is live. You're actually in the store buying the soda. So you see when the soda goes up instantly. You see it live. If the soda was $1 yesterday and it's $3 today, you see it when that happens. The billionaire, his data is 30 days late. He has to wait to see the CPI, the PPI, the inflationary numbers released a month after it happens. And that information at that point is not as helpful as knowing it live. Finally, gasoline, same situation. Tonight, what is the price of gasoline where you are? Jump in the live chat. If you see that price of gasoline going up faster and sooner, then ultimately what you're seeing, again, is live data that the billionaires don't see. What's important for you to know is that ultimately you're ahead of the ball game. And guess who you're also ahead of the ball game on as well? This guy, Jay Powell. He does not go off of live data. He goes off of release data like CPI and PPI. And so ultimately, when we're talking about getting Thanksgiving stimulus, we're talking about getting holiday stimulus, we're talking about getting it based upon live data that you see right now. So if you're in the supermarket tonight and then suddenly the soda has gone in October from $2 to $3 in November, then immediately you realize, wait a second, this is far more serious than even Jay Powell thinks he knows, because his data is 30 days out. I saw it live today. That's why I want to get myself a Thanksgiving stimulus check, a holiday stimulus check, you should say at that point to yourself, because you see the live data. You see the inflationary data live. You see the gas prices live. You also see other issues that I don't always cover, like rental prices live. And you also see medical bills live. And ultimately, those movements you see before anyone else. Now, ultimately, what we also do on this channel is we bring it together and compare notes across the country. Because some parts of the country may go up, but other parts we wonder if they go up as well. So let's do some analysis right now together as a family. Groceries. In the month of November compared to the month of October, groceries, all the groceries as a whole, month of November compared to the month of October, up or down, comma your state. My answer, up, comma California. Gasoline, November versus October, up or down? I'm going to say up. Gasoline, comma California. What do you say? What about housing? It's certainly not lower. It's just not lower. It may be the same, but it's definitely the same or higher, but it's definitely not lower, comma California. That's why ultimately you learn and ultimately you earn so much better. The average Joe and the average Jane, you may not have the stellar education that costs $200,000. You may not have gone to 3 graduate schools. You may not work in an ivory tower on Wall Street. But guess what? You know more than they even know. Because of the average Joe and the average Jane, you're experiencing it. You're buying the products. You may be making the products. You're seeing it live better than they do. And your data is more beneficial because their data is delayed. And ultimately, that's why you want to get all this incredible money. You want to get this incredible Thanksgiving stimulus and holiday stimulus and always stay ahead of the ball game left and right. The programming continues throughout the night on this channel. LA Live airing 24/7 on this channel. Also jump over to LA2 as its live show is airing as well. On the evening schedules on LA1, we have Evenings LA every night in prime time at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock is Countdown. 7 o'clock is Stream and Stimulus. 8 o'clock is Extra. 9 o'clock is Sunset. And then the programming continues throughout the night before returning in the morning at early mornings LA at 4 a.m. and mornings LA at 9 a.m., preceded by morning's countdown at 7 a.m. Get all this incredible money because you deserve it. You're the eyes and ears. You're the bread and the butter. You are the average Joe and the average Jane. That doesn't make you any bit less. In fact, when it comes to data, it makes you much better. You know it, you feel it, you experience it. You motivate one another. You inspire one another. You bring positivity to this channel, and you give motivation to other people across the board. Purple Power, you pounce and do it so well, and don't stop doing it as Evenings LA continues.